Welcome to the PLZ Soccer Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Delighted to have your company. Of course, we've had two broadcasts today, Ruffy, no less, because we had the Scottish Junior Cup semi-final draw earlier on today.
Yes, we did. Two of the big teams, obviously Hurlford and Auchinleck, kept apart, which will please the other two teams. Because I think at this stage, you know, a good thing about the juniors now, they changed it to 2 legs, and I think that makes it fairer for everybody. So there'll be exciting ties out there for everybody.
Yep, absolutely. What did you make of that draw, Ruffy? What do you think? Have you got a favourite?
Oh, obviously Auchinleck winning it 11 times. They've got to be the favourite. So Hurlford won it a couple of years ago. The others haven't won it for a while. But, you know, I think Auchinleck are obviously the favourites, particularly over 2 legs. They're very, very strong at home. But I think we might get a wee surprise in this one in the other semi-final.
Yeah, okay. Who are you going for then?
I'm going to go for Auchinleck and Lochee United.
Yeah, in the final?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go for Wishaw to win it.
That's just because it's down the road for you.
So you can be patriotic towards the guys you know. Yeah. Big Homer and the boys there. I'm going to go for Wishaw anyway. There you are, to antagonise everybody in Ayrshire. Now, let's look to the professional game, Ruffy. Some of the back page headlines. Ali McCoyce wants Graham Murty's position clarified. It could be over the next couple of weeks. The reason why, they'll be waiting to the semi-final. They might even be waiting to see where he finishes in the league. I would suggest to you, as I've been consistently saying all season, he's not going to get the job full time.
Well, I would like to think the decent thing is, although we don't know what's happening, I would like to think the powers that be have been talking to him and explaining to him the situation, why he would get it or why he wouldn't get it. I just think it puts out a massive debate for the people who say, you're saying, no, he shouldn't get it.
Yeah.
If he wins that Scottish Cup and he wins, he gets second in the league, takes Rangers into Europe, a lot of people will be questioning why he's not getting it.
Yeah.
Just because he gets beat against Celtic, because Morales misses a late goal, you know, I'm only saying that's what people will be asking, you know, because his remit is if he achieves that, but if he doesn't, obviously it's a different.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm not on the basis of looking at just the results here, because he has improved the side. It wouldn't have been too difficult to improve it from the Kashinya years, but he's got home-based players in. It's been a collective help along the way. He's a good coach. He's a brilliant lad, having had the good fortune to sit down and chat with him. I just think the Rangers' job is too big. I think the bigger problem, Ruffy, is not about the manager. I think in the summer it's about who's going to invest, because there is an obsession at Rangers at the moment with the fans, with everyone thinking, how do they stop Celtic's 10 in a row? It'll be 7 shortly, and then, you know, they really will start to crank it up in the next couple of years. They've got to find investment. They've got to ask major questions of Dave King and what his ambitions are for the club. And then they've got to look and say, well, who's going to come in and steer them through to have enough of a say to invest money and make the club stronger. And I'm being blunt with you. I'm only calling it from a football sense. Graham Murty, that job is too big for him long term. That's just my call on it. You know, you might disagree, you might agree with me. All you have to do is give us your view at PLZ Soccer on Twitter, facebook.com/PLZ Soccer. There are other issues. Celtic will undoubtedly clinch the title. We're looking who's going to finish second, who will be third, and of course who's going to get into the top 6. As well as the relegation issues below. It was a big point for St Johnstone last night, 3 points to be fairly accurate on it. They won by 1-0 to 0. It was an own goal at that. It's a bitter blow for Hamilton, because had Hamilton managed to snatch the win there, I think that would have given them that cushion, that breathing space to think we're not getting relegated. Yeah, I think that was the big point about this game. You know, the two of them got into the game believing that a win for either of the two was a survival package. I think St Johnstone got it. It doesn't put Hamilton back in it again. Obviously they'll still get another game in hand, but if we could wind things forward and get all the games before the split out of the way, I think we'd have a better idea at who's going to make the 2, 3 or 4, or even at the bottom, because some of the teams have got easier games, some teams have got hard ones. So it depends which of the ones take points from now, say the last 3 games. Yeah, well, listen, we've been chopping and changing all season long. It's getting tougher now. I have to say, If I'm going to be blunt about it, Ruffy, I've named my top three. I think Celtic, then Rangers, then Hibernian. I'm going to stick with Hibs because I've mentioned to you I tipped them for top three way back at the start. At the bottom end, I tipped Ross County and Hamilton. I still think now Hamilton can get away from it. I think they're going to get away from it, Ruffy. I think it might be, wait for it, I think it might be Dundee.
Yeah, well, Dundee have got the hardest 3 games of everybody else, but if they can keep touching distance, when I say touching distance, I mean 2 points.
Well, it's Ross County, then 3 points above them is Partick Thistle, then 3 points above them is Dundee.
Yeah, and if Ross County beat Partick Thistle, that's them level. If Dundee can continue not to win games, so you're going into the split when there's 3 of them there, and they're only going to be a point between them all.
Yeah.
And then they'll all believe that they're now in a section or a group, or what you call it, that there's none of them any better than anybody else. So they'll all believe that in any given day they can beat each other.
Well, give me your bottom 2 then.
My bottom 2 is the same as it's always been. I'm going to go with Ross County and Hamilton.
Oh, you still think Hamilton will be sucked in?
Yeah, I think they will. I think that was a good performance last night, but obviously they never won. They've got difficult games coming up as well. So I'm only saying that because that's what I said at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And I don't like changing my mind.
Well, absolutely.
Unless it's a European Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. or unless we've told you Man City have been knocked out of the FA Cup already. Before we talk about the other domestic games, a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on Scotland-wise. Brendan Rodgers thinks Jack Henry can be a mainstay for the Scotland side for years to come.
See if Jack Henry was to become a regular, and you can argue me with this. If Jack Henry becomes a regular, there will be 7 Celtic players in that 11.
Yeah. You
believe that? Yeah.
Well, what's the problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with it at all. If these are the players that are on form, and it's 7 Celtic players, then so be it. We saw it with 6 in it. It was relatively good, a good record. So yeah, if he's going to be an addition. I think he's only going to be an addition if it's a 3.
Yeah.
If it's a 4, I don't think.
You had a wry smile on your face there as if to say 6 or 7 Celtic players. What we need, Ruffy, is we need good international performances. We need a greater collection, a greater pool of players to call on for Scotland. And then what we need over and above that is a situation where quite simply Rangers, Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts hopefully as well, are getting into the group stages of European competitions. I mean, our record below Celtic is woeful. So we need them in. We need more and more Scots people playing, more of a call at international level, and then suddenly the game starts slowly but surely to go up because, the levels we're operating at the moment, we're not getting enough players playing top drawer football, Champions League football, Premier League football in England, which is why you've got 6 or 7 Celtic players being selected because they can play at that level. And I think McGregor's is a key to it all. He's been outstanding this season and definitely one that I think Alex McLeish will call on. What about the other one is John McGinn. Can he fill Scott Brown's boots in your mind?
I think he can fill the position. I don't think he can fill the style of play that Scott Brown gave us. I think Scott Brown was a different kind of player. I think John McGinn will score more goals than Scott Brown. I think he'll get forward in and around the box more than Scott. But Scott gave you other things. Scott gave you the fear factor of people knew who he was when he went into a game.
Well, maybe John McGinn can do that.
But I think Scott, identified their number 10 and gave him the stare or gave him whatever, and I think he was very, very good at that, putting the best players. I don't know if John's got that in his game yet. He might get it in 2 or 3 years, but certainly he's got more than enough to go in and hold down that position. I've never been a big fan of going Scotland at home with 2 sitting midfielders. I think we've got to be a lot more ambitious than that.
Yeah, okay. There's a couple of points I want to bring up which are coming up from a couple of the guys posting comments. David Russell says, who do you think is up for the Young Scottish Player of the Year? Now, I just wonder, is Lewis Morgan in there?
Well, I was going to say, is it a collective of all the divisions of that, or is it different? Is it a Young Player of the Year for the top division, first division, second division, third division?
No, it's a collective.
It's a collective.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Morgan's the one that everybody's talking about in the first division. The championship.
Tierney?
Yeah, but at times of the season things happen.
Yeah.
And you talk about players and Kieran Tierney has had another good season, but we're not raving about him because he's done everything he has to do now. He's not a young player coming in. I would say he's.
Does Harry Cochrane get a vote?
Yeah, he'll be in it as
16 years of age, Ruffy, in the top flight.
Yeah, I think he's got to be a nomination. I think who else there is. I mean, what age
it's under 23.
23. Ryan Christie come into that category? Under 23?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If he did, he would be in it as well if he was there.
I mentioned him for maybe a nomination for Player of the Year, but and I'm talking about because I'm struggling to come up with the fourth player. I mean, I think if you're looking for it, I think Scott Brown's, for me, going to get for me, he's going to win it. That's just my own personal opinion. Chris Boyd will be nominated, certainly, James Forrest, but that fourth player, I'm trying to be kind and look at players who've been consistent.
Chris Boyd's got to be up there.
But what, to win it?
He's got to be nominated anyway.
No, that's what I said to you, he's going to be a nomination.
Well, I would go further than that. I would say
he's going to win it.
And
well, that's a big change for you. 5 years ago, you didn't even think he was going to score 20 goals for Kilmarnock.
No,
they did.
Every year's different.
Yeah.
Every year's different. And
is he your Player of the Year?
He is my Sports Writers Player of the Year.
Oh.
I'm never ever sure.
No. But the reason why you're saying he's your Sports Writers Player of the Year is because you think the journalists vote a certain way. That's nothing to do with on the park. I mean, give us your Player of the Year.
Oh, I think on the park he deserves.
So he's Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think he deserves.
Oh, I'm just. I just want your Player of the Year because you think this is the man who. So Boydie is your Player of the Year.
My Sports Writers Player of the Year.
No. What about your Players Player of the Year? What do you think?
My Players Player of the Year. Again, it's the voting system.
Shergar? What?
No.
Red Rum? What are you doing? Is that a horse?
No. I'm going to stick with
Boydie.
Oh,
that's fine.
I think players will give the players will give Boydie a lot of votes.
Absolutely. Well, at least you've got an opinion, which wasted about 90 seconds on this Facebook Live. The other one is Brian Dunn says, what's your thoughts on the financial fair play stories doing the rounds on social media? This is, of course, just Anne Budge has been asked a question at the Hearts gathering of supporters associations last night, where they are concerned over the financial fair play, whether UEFA will step in and deny Rangers a European position or a European place based on their ability to pay their bills at the moment with loans and the like. Anne Budge has said that they're going to be keeping a close eye on it, but nothing is set in stone at this moment. I'm not fudging the issue, I'm giving you the facts.
Yeah, well, obviously I don't know the facts. I don't know that, what is the case with Rangers just now. I know they're taking soft loans, and I'm sure if people are looking into that and it's against the rules of the game, I'm sure the powers that be will look at it, and if there's any punishment to dish out, they'll dish it out.
Yeah, Darren is in Illinois, 38,000 feet up over Illinois watching the programme. That's where we are, Ruffy. There's people near and far watching this programme.
What's he doing?
Well, I don't know, but he's watching the programme. That's all you need to know about it. Okay, thanks for the comments that are coming in. There's a few things that we want to talk about. Of course, over the weekend, no doubt about the game of the weekend. It's Motherwell against Rangers. I don't think Graham Murty can afford any more slip-ups in the league, Ruffy. He's just got to keep battering away because destiny is in Aberdeen's hands. Yeah. If they keep winning, they'll finish second.
Yeah, and we all know Motherwell will make it a feisty game. They've done it before. I think Rangers players will have to stand up to Motherwell in this one. I agree with you, it is the game of the weekend. Interesting one because Rangers obviously last game are at home to Dundee, so they'll think 6 points will be good stead getting into the split, because obviously Aberdeen have a game in hand of them. But yeah, you're right, they really need to keep winning. Yeah,
and the other thing I was going to draw your attention to, Ruffy, was the comments from Neil Lennon, who basically has said he's going to struggle to keep the likes of John McGinn and Dylan McGeoch at the club over the summer, because clubs will start to cherry pick their best players. I think that will be a worry for him. Something that he has encountered before at another level when he was a Celtic manager, but losing two players of that calibre decimates your midfield.
Yeah, I think McGinn would be a big loss. I think he would be able to hold on to McGeoch. But he has got a knack. It never fazed him the last time when they lost a couple of big players. He just went out and identified another two. But I think John McGinn now is at the stage playing for Scotland. I think you will find there'll be bigger clubs out there wanting his signature.
Yep, okay. There's a group of Liverpool supporters coming up to Celtic Park this weekend for Celtic against Ross County. They are going to observe the safe standing area, these railings that are put in, and basically they'll go back with a report to a number of supporters associations, especially people from the Hillsborough group, to explain to them about how it operates at Celtic and whether it's worth looking at it to adopt it at Anfield as well. You know, Liverpool, more than any other club, have got to look at this seriously and, you know, understand how it operates and the safety and the care that Celtic have put into this. And it's a big step, and, you know, full marks to the Liverpool groups for coming up to check it out.
Yeah, I think if you look back over the last 30 years, if you looked at an area of a football park, the Kop in particular had a tremendous standing area, you know, and it was fantastic to watch them swaying back and forward and everything. But obviously, nowadays with the health and safety, you have to be more safe. And I think if they can get back to a standing area in the Kop and it's safe, then I think they're more than likely to take that on board.
Yep, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how that story develops over the weekend in the English Premier League. We'll talk about the battle at the bottom, two tasty games that'll get Ruffy's thoughts on tomorrow in the company of Barry Ferguson. West Ham, Southampton and Newcastle against Huddersfield. Let's not forget Chelsea against Tottenham as well. So if you want to contribute to us, you can indeed. It's www.plzsoccer.com. That'll give you all the latest European, world news, English football and Scottish. If you want to download the app to get the latest news every day on the app, it's the PLZ Soccer app in Google Play and also in the App Store too. You can download that app and get constant updates, and of course you can record on the video reporter section and drop in your video. Basically you can give us your point of view on what you think is troubling you about your club or football in general. You can of course be positive, as we mentioned, on a regular basis, so download the app as well. Don't forget, you'll get the full Scottish Junior Cup semi-final draw that we talked about at the start of the programme on PLZ Soccer's site. But from Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching.
Above where he was.
There he is, watching 38,000 feet up over Illinois.